r/TooAfraidToAsk. Alternative_Fox8992 says, is this rape? I was having sex with my boyfriend, and before we started I told him to use a condom and to not come inside of me just in case. It was dark, but I found out at the end that he did not put a condom on, and he came inside of me, which I felt when he did, and I was upset. I don't know what this is considered, but my friend said it is rape. Old Fox 3027 says, it's called stealthing and is absolutely an assault. Some places have specific laws against it. I would call the sexual assault crisis kind for your area. You should take Plan B and get tested for STDs. Waste_television 7924 says, out of curiosity, does a woman lying about taking contraception also classify as assault? Poise Boy says, most likely, except the laws in whatever country you live are sexist. Forest City WRX says, dude's a d-bag. Ditch him. Fredsome25 says, no, get him arrested for rape. Then ditch him. Big Letterhead 4338 says, condom stealthing has been added to the books in many places, considered sexual battery in my jurisdiction. Heart Quadrant says, it's assault. Dump him because he does not care about you or your boundaries. Jukin says, that is 1000% the end of the relationship, right? Flashy Song 6098 says, it's assault and dump him. Badatist 888 says, rape depends on the legal wording of where you live, and unfortunately there aren't informed consent laws on all the books yet, and a lot of places just have references to penetration against their will. I would consider it morally rape and you need to ditch him and warn people about him as soon as possible. Quap says, your conditions for the sex were for him to wear a condom and not finish inside of you. I'm assuming he agreed to this, but ended up deceiving you. I guess in that way it can be considered rape, since you wouldn't have agreed knowing he was gonna do what he did. Chaos_65 says, in the UK it's classed as rape as you gave consent under the condition that he wore protection, so by not wearing protection he didn't get consent. OK Butterscotch 4486 says, in the UK this exact behavior is explicitly defined as rape in law. In many other countries it is not considered rape in law, but is still illegal. It is one of the accusations which led to Julian Assange hiding from Swedish authorities. Morally it is rape, no. You should Google its legality in your country. If you decide not to tell the police, you should at least dump this guy. You can't trust him, and this lack of respect for your boundaries can easily escalate. If you don't know his sexual health status, you should also consider emergency PEP if this happened in the last 48 hours, and should get an ST test now and again in 12 weeks. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Pine_Apple_Supreme says, if a gorilla walked into my house and saw me sleeping in my bed, what would it do? Like, would it just walk away? Raid my kitchen? Eat my broccoli in the garden? Stealing my slippers? What would it do? Thetoglibusted says, it would probably get curious and investigate you, then kill you when you freak out. Immensalilek says, rough and dry. Inat72 says, gorillas are pretty shy, so it would probably check you out and leave unless you scare or provoke it. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Brown Branch 76 says, what are some low stress office jobs for someone with anxiety that has a 2 or 4 year liberal arts degree? Blugladoo says, paper pusher government job. Boring as hell. But low stress. Unless you find boredom stressful. Sneakersome89 says, you can probably manage payroll, inventory, and whatnot. It should be pretty easy depending on the size of the business. but _I_digress_ says. Office manager. It has its curveballs, but it's overall a pretty predictable job. You might have one stressful period per year around budget time. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Appointment Leather 85 says. What happens at adult entertainment conventions like Exxxotica? Asking cause this guy emceeing went, and I'm curious as to what goes on. Ringoran9 says. Probably the same as at Comic Con. The actors are there, talking. People getting autographs and maybe photos or selfies. A lot of merchandise, and probably some award ceremonies. Just TooAfraidToAsk now says. So much sex. Pornsters just, like, blowing guests left and right, for free. It's a bang fest for sure. Iron Scythe says. You should ask him. This comes off as insecure. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Holiday Pipe 8121 says. How is r/roastme thing for people who hit rock bottom? I don't get the idea of why people post a selfie to get insulted by internet strangers. What makes it particularly harsh or moist that a significant chunk of those bias suggest that these people are not on their high in life? I can't imagine this to be healthy in any way. Please enlighten me. Rawanks3 says. I think for maybe mentally ill people, they are kinda asking for validation for their negative sense of self. If they get others to say it to them, it sort of helps them reaffirm what they already think. It isn't healthy, no. Empty Visage says. I don't think it's healthy, but it's probably similar to how people who feel lonely tend to get more and more provocative in order to get some type of reaction. It's forcing social interaction, no matter how poor the quality. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Azazthum says. Is it right to talk and make plans for date while being in situationship with someone? I'm dating this girl for 2 months and been in touch with her for almost 5 months. When she first asked me out for date, I said yes, but it didn't work out that time. After months of talking and making plans for date, we finally meet where she tells me about her past, mentioning that she was in situationship and it ended recently. At that time I didn't notice, but now it feels like I might have been an option for her. Please advise. Please don't mind my English. Mr. Hartnebrigg says. If you two aren't in a relationship, then yes, you were an option. And she, likewise, is your option. Where's the beef? Lol. It's Salakats in voice says. Man. You are the option. Sorry bro, that happens in life, it sucks but it's life. Mr. says. What's a situationship? Zesticlose bar 3539 says. Unless you have a talk with your partner and establish that you are exclusive, assume they are dating other people. r/TooAfraidToAsk. York0 says. Is it possible to romantically love multiple people at the same time? Cyclist_Thanos says. Yes. It's called polyamory. There are many people who practice this lifestyle. Sleekhandspacey says. Definitely, but it's messy. Usagi_Shinobi says. Absolutely, but the social contract frowns on it. Vossinaran says. Absolutely, and it can be a curse. Terrible quote 3561 says. Yes, but acting on both usually ends up with one/both not getting the necessary amount of attention/affection/etc. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Killapple says. What would be your stripper name? My only enemy is me, Stike says. Kim Dong-un. Forest City WRX says. Johnny Depth. Just _another_anon 777 says. Boobers McG. Invisible underscore man 321 says. Beefs Willington. Usagi underscore shinobi says. As I understand it, it's supposed to be the name of your first pet, and then the street you grew up on, which in my case, becomes Smokey Joe Pole. Cluster underscore fluff says. Terra de Cove. Black Thornton says. Stripper John. Black Thornton says. Stripper John. Fetus wearing a suit says. Stripper. r/TooAfraidToAsk. Botaday I frictaply underscore gone says. How to say no without being self-deprecating. My coworker invited me to an event, and I said yes right away. I'm desperate to try to fit in, be normal and have friends, and these people are incredibly nice. However, I can barely speak a coherent sentence and often make the conversations about me and my own highly negative problems. It's not my intention, but it seems like all my rotting brain can come up with fast enough to seem normal and not instantly dumb and brain dead. It's clear that these people are a longer term friend group and I'm an outsider. Makes me feel weird to go with when it's also clear they have been talking about it together for a while. Too long, didn't read. How do I back out of going with a few people to something in a couple months, because I don't want to ruin it and I can't function at all? Microwave I says. Don't back out. Come up with things to ask and talk about that aren't negative. Practice and go natural, you won't get comfortable. NVNCBLSHDW says. The best advice I can give is to use these people as practice for learning how to communicate. People come and go in life, and if you truly frick up, then there will be other opportunities for you. Don't get stuck in a rut of being the awkward guy. I've been there and sometimes still am. Try and make friends, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. If you say something stupid, try and make a joke out of it. Use these people to help you blossom. Strongman Cole says. You should go to it and challenge yourself. They wouldn't invite you if they thought you were annoying or unpleasant.